Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. This is Miss Buhowen teaching you guys without actually being there. Thank you, technology. So what you should have in front of you is this paper here. We are looking at our topic being circles. Essential question: how can one part of a circle determine another part of the same circle? And you should be able to answer that question by the end of this lesson. All right, task 1, formulas and vocabulary. We have a few blanks that you guys need to fill in, and you have the resources to do it. What do you look at to be able to find our vocabulary? Yes, you in the back. Yeah, you go on your Google Classroom. Under the About section of your Google Classroom, you're going to have 2 resources. One that says Math is Fun, and 2, your Digits Glossary. I suggest you guys look at your Digits Glossary. Well, I'm not going to give you the answers. The video is going to pause after I say this, and you have to figure this part out. Ready? Go. Awesome. Now that you guys have done that, again, I'm not giving you guys the answers. I want you to be able to write down the different formulas to these. Again, you guys can find them on your Digits book, again, located on your Google Classroom, but this one I am going to go over. Your circumference, you guys can kind of think of as your perimeter of a circle. And your perimeter is what? Yeah, you right here. It is the distance around our circle. So all the way around our circle here, that is our circumference. So your circumference is all the way around. You definitely don't have to write that, but if it helps you, go ahead. There is a formula for circumference, and that formula is 2 pi times r. Know that each of these are being multiplied together. With your C equals, this is actually an equation and not an expression. So if you were to write an expression that would stand for the circumference of a circle, you wouldn't have the C equals. Your expression would just look like 2 times pi times r and whatever your r is. Okay? Awesome. Your area, very similar. It's going to be pi times r squared. And I want you guys to remember, what does that r squared actually mean? Yes, you're right here. Absolutely. You can think of it as r times r. And I hope you guys actually wrote down what pi was equal to, because all pi is, it's a number, it's a constant. And what is it? Perfect, it is 3.14. Good job, buddy. All right, now talking about the radius and the diameter. The radius and the diameter both share that they intersect this dot right here, and that dot P, that's called the center. Your radius goes from your center to any outside point of your circle. Doesn't matter where. It could be anywhere. But when you have from your center to any point on the outside of your circle, it is called your radius. If you have more than one, it's called radii instead of radius. And then here we have from side to side going through the center. It has to go through the center, opposite side of each other. It's called the diameter. Some of you guys would have already seen that. Well, if this is the diameter and from here to here is the radius, how are they related? Do you notice anything? What you should notice is that if you had two radii radii, it would actually make a diameter, right? End to end, opposite sides through the center. So what you actually have is the relationship that your radius is half of your diameter, or your diameter is twice your radius. These formulas are good to memorize or just good to remember. Usually when you're tested on it, they give it to you and you don't have to memorize it. So that ends the front side of our paper. Make sure you guys are writing some good questions, and if you have any questions for me, this is a great place to put it so that we can talk about it when I return tomorrow. Okay, let's go to the back. The back side, most of it is you guys. An art class developed this logo to represent the school in an art show. Determine which segments are radii and which are diameters. So what are some important things to know there? Well, first off, we're determining which are radii and which are diameters. And we have a couple of choices here. Notice how it is put. So we have PD, AD, AB, AP, PB, AC, PC. I know when we talked about expressions, we said that it has to be in alphabetical order. And when you're looking at this first one, it's not in alphabetical order. When we talk about line segments in geometry, it has to be what point is first and what point is second. So this is your start point, this is your end point. So if we look at this line segment here, PD, it starts at P, ends at D, and you're talking about that line right there. Well, the question is that a radius or is that a diameter? What do you think? Correct. It is a radius because it only goes from the middle of the circle to one end. Middle of the circle to one end. If it was a diameter, it would have to go from one end of the circle to the end of the circle through the center. So this is a radius, and we're gonna write it here. PD with a little line on top telling us that is a line segment. Well, that's one. You guys have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. Write them down, make a list, okay? Do it now. May. Next task. You actually have to be able to see which tiles describe a circle with a circumference of 3 pi meters or 4 pi meters. We need to answer the question, you guys. Which tile describes a circle with circumference 3 pi or 4 pi meters? And we're looking at these here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we're gonna do one of them together. The rest you guys can do with yourself, not in a group. You guys can use calculators, and that's what I'm grabbing right now. I'm grabbing a calculator. Here it is. Okay, let's do the quote-unquote hard one. The one with decimals, right? All right, so I know that my radius, because I'm looking at this one, is equal to 1.5. And I know that the formula for circumference is equal to 2 pi times r. Perfect, because I already know what r is. So to evaluate this, all I have to do is substitute the values of pi and the values for r and then multiply them all together. All right, let's see. 2, we know what pi is, so times r. Pi is 3.14 and our r is 1.5. Actually, they want to leave pi its like how it is. So we're going to go ahead and just erase that. 2 times 1.5 times pi. Alright, well we can multiply these. 2 times 1.5, grab my calculator. 2 times 1.5, and that is, can you see it? 3. So this is going to be 3 pi is equal to our circumference. So that means the distance around our circle is going to be 3 pi meters. And I mean, that's going to go here or here. Obviously it's going to go on this one. So all we're going to do, right, R is equal to 1.5 m. But then you're going to say, Miss Muhammad, that was so easy because all we had to do was substitute. But what happens when we don't know the radius? What happens when we know the diameter? Well, let's look at one of those. Let's take this one. Your D is equal to 2m. All right, something we know. You know your diameter is equal to 2 meters. And you know your circumference is equal to 2 pi times r. You say to yourself, uh-oh, that's not good. I have r, I know my radius, not my diameter. But we know something between the radius and the diameter. Your radius is half of your diameter. So if you take a half of your diameter, you get your radius. Well, let's see here. If we know this whole way across is 2 meters, what would be the distance from here to here? You're right. It's 1. Okay, from here, all we have to do is substitute. Your circumference is equal to 2 times pi times your radius. What was our radius? Our radius was equal to 1 meter. Oh, we actually don't need the m though. Alright, well we can't multiply these, so we can multiply these two numbers together. 2 times 1 is just 2 pi. You should see a problem with that. Is that anywhere? No, no it isn't. So, what do? Well, that doesn't go anywhere. So we're just gonna leave it off to the side. And that's it for this paper. Super simple. And you guys have to be done with this by the end of the class period. So get to work. Remember, if you guys have questions, write them down, ask them to me tomorrow, or you can ask a question to me on Google Classroom so we could talk about it tomorrow. All right, have a good day. Be good.